I have had an experience for 18 years approximately, working in the Latin American region. Now it's the Americas region. My experience has been mostly in the first 10 years looking at customers in the broad range of areas of utilization. Let it be animal utilization, human consumption, the works, on the purchasing perspective, how to train or support our customer base to better purchase U.S. soy grains and oilseeds. And then lately, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been working on different programs through which we'd like to communicate the U.S. soy advantages from an integral perspective. Let it be logistics, let it be financial, and then of course touching on some intrinsic values, touching on quality. The main is quality, and if you're talking about animal utilization, they are looking at protein content, of course, but then for the last few years we've been working with them hand by hand with technical servicing to induce them to better understand the benefits of feed formulation based on amino acids. I think that would be a largest or best example to it. In taking care of the markets for USSEC, I'm responsible. One of the main areas of work is servicing the animal utilization sectors in Mexico, and then throughout the region with other programs, purchasing related and else. And if you look at integral perspective at our range of customers, let it be poultry, let it be cattle for meat or beef and dairy, and of course swine, companies are stepping more and more into a better formulation. It's very well reputed, quality-wise, and then also from an integral perspective. On the purchaser side, they like to do U.S. soybeans or U.S. soybean meal, as an example, because it's timely deliveries. Quality, of course, we touch on that. And then financially speaking, there's financial alternatives, credit or else available from the suppliers. If you take a look at our region, it's very diverse. And that diversity reflects on regulation, domestic regulation in each country, and the usual or average business practices. Only major firms for the last few years have stepped into social responsibility. And some of those major players have incorporated sustainability as something in their plans or in their daily life to some extent. So that helps when you are talking about or promoting the U.S. soy sustainability message, and they get to better understand the value of the U.S. soy sustainability certificates. We've started working the region from that perspective 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So far, I understand there's been certificates issued for 1.8 million metric tons to the date, something like that. But it's been quite an effort. I would say the average customer is early in the learning curve on sustainability. And if you take a look at some sectors in specific, aquaculture is much more involved. Pet food processors, producers, they're more into what it means, what it takes because of the global certifications they are required when they trade their products or they even export their products. But we are getting there. We have a solid market. Markets vary. I mean, talking about it very in general about the region is not easy because some of our countries in the region are much more exposed to, let us say, South American competition, either it be soybeans or soybean meal or soybean oil. Mexico is a rather mature market. If you take a look at the crushers and the soybean oil related, but that has a lot to do with soybean meal. So you're talking about livestock and else, animal utilization. We have some examples that a couple of very large crushers in Mexico have recently expanded their operations, one of them in particular. That changes the equation of imports or U.S. exports into Mexico, because it's been a soybean market. It will continue to be more a soybean market because of the domestic production of soybean meal. And logistics play a very important role when you take a look at the region, overall the region, and Mexico is no exception. Mexican consumers or processors usually prefer U.S. soy, but then you have advancements made by the South American industry or exporters themselves that they have improved their quality. You get to hear that, and you get to hear also that the logistics, to some extent at least, have improved. If you look at the animal utilization area as a single sector, it's not usual to see a full vessel load of a single product, let it be corn, let it be soybeans or soybean meal. Usually it's a combo shipping thing. And that has helped U.S. exports to some extent. We will continue to see, my guess, that's my perception, we'll continue to see more or an increased and enhanced competition from South America, and that poses challenges. But I think that the U.S. soy family, the U.S. soy organizations are ready for that and more. We brought a group of 20 customers.
Describe those 20.
Enthusiastic. They've been enjoying the experience. That I recall, maybe only one has been here before. Some of the companies they represent have attended, because a colleague or someone has had the experience before. They are really enjoying it. They have found it very useful, and we are only into day one of the experience. And yesterday, you will be aware, we have the trade team invitationals, where USSEC members address, and they have the opportunity, kind of a one-on-one meetings, not only from the institutional or marketing perspective to share on their companies with their customers, but several of them, most of them, share some technical knowledge or technical advancements they have in their companies, which is for their good. It is not always easy from the customer perspective to be able to actually talk to a grower, to actually pop up some questions they also have. You have the regular questions, hey, what's the average size of the farm, what's the yields, and that kind of information. But coming from a grower, from a certain part of a certain state or different states, that makes a difference, big difference, and our customers love it. And they are really looking forward for the experience on Friday, for the field visits. On the other hand, I think we have a good example on the TTIs yesterday, where a grower leader was introducing the companies. He led the discussions, introduced the USSEC members. Having those growers, our grower leaders, connect with our customers, it's an experience for them. That's the rewards. No? Our grower leaders or the customers? Or both? Customers? Well, customers to our grower leaders, way further from the average questions we mentioned, the yields and else, that's much more important. I mean, at the time of the season, the soybean season, the corn season, they're always eager to hear from growers, actual growers, instead of going to the stats and the reports and else. That's very, very helpful for them. But also they've been asking questions about expectations, policy, trade negotiations, if there's a perspective or a certain perception they may have. So whatever input for them is for the better. GT, it's a magnificent experience. It's a prime, unique opportunity for customers and us consultants who have been lucky to attend one or the other every now and then. It's a magnificent experience to share with our customers, to share with customers from our own region, but from different countries, and then have them network with our grower leaders, with our staff. They put a face on who we are. I mean, and they get really the US soy experiencing here at the event because of the content of the conferences, the program, the networking, and else. It's a big experience. Regarding USSEC, it's a great organization, and they've been, I mean, the staff, the CEO, and all the team has been pushing hard. They acknowledge the efforts of us consultants. We are called the boots on the ground. And we like that because, I mean, we come and go and we visit with customers. And there's different programs that involve not only our staff or senior staff, but also grower leaders attending. And their participation is so important because they have a first-hand feeling of aquaculture programs in Panama or Mexico or else, or different types of programs, different types of experiences that really, that's my perception, personal impression is, opinion, I would say, not impression, is that they really serve to have them connect with the customer base. US soy, big challenges, big experiences, successful experiences, and a lot of resources, human resources, consultants, staff, the planning process, the more refined planning process that our mother organizations have, the USB, and at least in my experience for the last few years, we've been working closer and closer with FAS, the USDA authorities that are part of the funding sources, and having that kind of experience, having them share presentations or visits and else with our customers, 2 thumbs up. Great. We have had, I mean, I have had experience of being here for the last 4 editions, or 3 editions for the GT. Since Iowa, I think it's 4, sorry. But out of the experiences, there's many that I like to share, but one in particular was a very successful experience in connecting a customer who was coming for the first time, having him introduced to a new alternate source of product, and they were talking about non-GMO soybean meal. And it's not usual to see containers going into a region unless they are identity preserved products and else. But these guys are based in Central America, and we made the introductions, and they did the business. I mean, that continues to happen. I think that's a successful story, and being part of that, small part of it, feels good.